Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in. The late evening live stream, early morning live stream to my super chat. Thank you so very much. You allow me to do these live streams, so thank you. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, today, my upload this morning is doing well because Michael Flynn told the truth. There was nothing to lie about. So, there was nothing to lie about. What was there to lie about? There was no Russian number one, there was no Russian interference. Just like Democrats say, well, Clinton got the most votes. What's the problem? Who cares if Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced to resign in disgrace? She got the most votes. So what? Their view of politics is we get away with whatever we can get away with and then fall back on a vapid position and then fabricate and complain the same way we heard Bernie Sanders supporters complain. So, except in this case, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was actually cheated. I'm sorry, she actually did resign. We don't know, we have no clue how many votes were altered by Facebook ads or by Twitter bots. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz actually stated it's a fair and neutral primary. She and 4 other Democratic Party DNC officials were forced to resign. The 2016 election takes place. They lose, then they blame Russia, but nobody resigns from the Trump campaign because nobody worked with Russia. So then they say, well, no, it had to have happened. It had to have happened, so we got to investigate this. It didn't happen. They found nothing. And then there's a statute called 18 U.S. Code 371, which is what they were trying to get President Trump on. They were trying to get President Trump on a statute called 18 U.S. Code 371. Let's look at it right now. 18 U.S. Code 371. I wrote about this in the Federalist. The statute, and this is exactly why if someone conspires to commit an offense or defraud the United States of America. So, if you have a whole bunch of people, this is, okay, so here, 18, this is 12 U.S. Code. Okay, where's 18 U.S. Code? Code 318, 80, okay, so 18 U.S. Code 371. If you conspire to defraud the United States, creates an offense if 2 or more people conspire either to commit any offense against the United States or to defraud the United States or any agency thereof in any manner or for any purpose. When you're lying to FISA judges and you're deceiving FISA judges simply to oust a president, you have broken 18 U.S. Code 371. There was no reason for Michael Flynn to be interviewed. There was no investigative purpose. Zero, zilch, nothing. The Steele dossier should never have been used. It was purchased by Clinton, President Trump's direct political rival. Notice how Trump doesn't have any direct political rivals, but Biden and Clinton do. So we know that Hillary Clinton's going to run again. We know that President Trump just today said he tweeted out, new information shows Michael Flynn told the truth. New documents just released reveal General Flynn was telling the truth, and the FBI knew it. And then in a new 14-page filing, the U.S. Court of Appeals Friday, Flynn lawyer Sidney Powell said prosecutors deliberately suppressed evidence that would have been favorable to his client. He was viewed as being forthright. These documents, so he tweeted that at 5:45 a.m. yesterday morning. These documents established that on January 25, 2017, the day after the agents ambushed him at the White House, the agents and DOJ officials knew General Flynn's statements were not material to any investigation. General Flynn's statements were not material to any investigation. They interviewed him on a conversation with Sergei Kislyak that was already listened to. Notice how any misconduct that is leveled against Trump or Trump officials, they don't care. Then you have people, you have like Hollywood producers and people that well, if you're a Trump supporter, I don't want to talk to you. It's like they're going to lose because of that absurd mentality. I've told people, you're going to lose. You are going to lose because you can't stick your head in the sand and just simply claim moral superiority all the time. Oh, by the way, Florida Man Bear, thank you for my last segment. Thank you, Florida Man Bear. Thank you. Thank you. Climb BMX. Thank you, Climb BMX. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated, Climb BMX. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, Climb BMX, thank you again. So they set up and framed Michael Flynn. They knew that he never committed a crime. What happens when well, okay, let's start off this way. The reason that media and the Democratic Party and the Washington Post and the New York Times and Judge Sullivan, the reason that nobody who thinks that Michael Flynn the Michael Flynn case or the Roger Stone case should be either commuted or dropped. All of them believe that Russia interfered in the election. Clinton is going to be nominee. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But, ladies and gentlemen, follow me here. They don't understand why anyone would want to undermine Trump. And if you give them evidence that that President Trump was set up, they say, well, he is a danger, so you can't really win either way. If you explain to them, if you let them know, look, they utilized the dossier purchased by Clinton, and you would never allow that if it were a Republican administration going up against an incoming Democratic candidate. You would never allow that Democratic candidate to be investigated based on a dossier that was purchased by his direct political rival or her direct political rival, a Republican. So Clinton being investigated by a Republican administration. So she's going to run. She's going to be nominee. Let's say she's investigated right now by John Radcliffe and Christopher Wray. And Trump purchases a dossier that says Madam Secretary enjoys wonderful bodily fluids in Moscow hotel rooms. Then they say, well, we got Jennifer Palmieri or Brian Fallon or Robbie Mook on audio tape in a hotel bar or in a bar in London. And they said that they're interested in finding emails detrimental to Trump. So we're going to start, and by the way, Clinton's incoming national security advisor, she lied to us. We're not going to show you the 302s. They would never allow it. George Rivera Jr. So with all the investigations, become an August, September, and October series of surprises. Will all the investigations become an August, September, and October series of surprises? I don't think on their end, and George Rivera Jr., thank you, George, I don't think on our end either. I don't think President Trump, I don't think that this election is going to be real. Okay, look, maybe Biden is knocked out of the political contest because of Hunter and Burisma. That's a possibility. There's like 10 different ways. Clinton is the only chance they have. I'm going to say it, and I will have called it, and it will be one of the biggest political calls of all time. It'll be one of the biggest political calls of all time, ladies and gentlemen. But George, I think that if it's utilized to ensure that Madam Secretary becomes president, or I'm sorry, in Hebrew the word is chas v'shalom, which means God forbid, heaven forbid. But if Clinton's going to be the nominee because she's the only chance they have. She's literally the only chance they have. They have no chance with Biden. That is an absurd charade. When it happens, people will be like, "Oh yeah, of course Biden," and then I'll be like, "Yeah, nobody ever said that but me." But I will have made the biggest political call of all time. But George, I think that if anything is utilized, it's going to be utilized to get Biden out of the way. It's going to be utilized to get Biden out of the way. And I don't think that they can't investigate Trump's tax returns because, that's another issue. There's nothing there. They can't investigate the grand jury, the Mueller probe grand jury. Oh, that's right, because nobody was ever indicted on working with Russia. So there's nothing there. So their two biggest fantasies they can't even touch or investigate. So the House, this is going to, honestly, I think that their strategy is simply get as many maniacal, fanatical, hysterical, apoplectic, rabid, seething, fuming, frothing at the mouth, angry, frustrated people who don't like Trump, Democrats, get them as livid as possible and scorned as possible before the election. Hope that you get 60 million people, because Trump is so unpopular, because every single day he is the end of the world. There's actually a meteor that wouldn't hit Earth, but because of Trump, his tweets are making the meteor actually gravitate towards Earth. So right now, what they're doing, George and everybody here, is that they're just trying to, big honker, hello, big honker, hello. What they're trying to do is just make certain that Anthony, hello, chas v'shalom, yes, chas v'chalila. Anthony Perron. Chas v'chalila. Yes. Anthony Perron, the man. So George and everybody here, they don't really have investigations on Trump. I don't know how. There's a new angle. So it was Russia, then Ukraine, then pandemic, then his response to protests. So it's all of these things that are all of these allegations filtered through the lenses of Democratic Party sensibilities. All of these things that are filtered through the sensibilities of the Democratic Party. Here's the difference between everyone watching and the average person voting for Trump and the average person voting for Democrats. I don't really care what Democrats think about anything. They could launch themselves into space on Space Force capsules, and I'll be fine with that. They can, say that Trump is a horrible person. I'll refute that and offer rebuttals. They can do whatever they want to do. It's all good with me. I'm not going to disown anybody. I'm cool with everyone. They're the ones who have no argument, cannot articulate and communicate an actual argument, cannot possibly debate their vantage point because their ideas don't hold up to scrutiny, basic scrutiny. basic scrutiny their ideas don't hold up to. If President Trump is a racist, why did he sign the First Step Act? Well, you know. Why did he increase funding for historically black colleges and universities? Well, he had to. No, he didn't. He could have vetoed the... I thought that if he's such a horrible person, why didn't he veto this legislation? Why did he sign an executive order combating anti-Semitism, which is running rampant? Running rampant on college campuses. You can't make certain equivalencies or analogies, and if you do, they're anti-Semitic analogies. I can't even get into them on YouTube. But the left does this all the time. So, it's like Democrats, they demand that, Shungu Patsika! To my Australian viewers, thank you. I have the most amazing viewers in Australia. Shungu Patsika! Remind me who's going to be the nominee. Hillary! This is Shungu. It's going to be, why aren't I 50 points ahead? What is that noise? What's going on here? Why aren't I 50 points ahead? Oh my God, it's getting louder. Why aren't I 50 points ahead? Oh my God! Hillary! I love you, Hillary. I never knew love like this before. Hillary. Shungu Patsika. Hillary Clinton. She's going to be the nominee. It won't be Tales from the Crypt. It won't be Shungu Patsika. It will not be Biden. That's absurd. Why would... They don't even care about their primary. I love when people say to me, like, or I've heard, like, they would never circumvent the will of the people. They don't care about the people. They don't care about their voters. They already stated that they don't need to uphold any primary. That they basically, it's a private entity. It's like a business. It's like basically like a corporation. Roger Stone was wearing shirts that Roger Stone still did nothing wrong. Oh, that's so great. That's so great. That is so great. But it'll be Clinton. It'll be Clinton. And it'll definitely be Clinton. It will be Clinton, and it's just a matter of time. We don't know exactly when, but we do know it's going to happen. I think that when it does happen, everything will be a lot clearer now, because we'll realize, okay, the past 4 years was for one purpose and one purpose only: to elect Madam Secretary. The absurd notion that Biden would be nominee after Michael Flynn was set up, George Papadopoulos was set up, Carter Page was set up, Roger Stone was set up. Well, Roger Stone was set up, but he made his bed in certain respects by claiming things that were not true. But he was ultimately set up because they tried to utilize he basically made statements that were not true, and then they tried to capitalize on that. But still, he was set up. They indicted 33 people. Nobody. That Mueller probe found nobody who worked with Russia. So that's not for Biden. That's not for Biden. Big Chris! Speaking of Australia, I just watched a movie there from there called These Final Hours. Great freaking movie. Thank you, Australia. Highly recommend it. Okay. Let me see. These Final Hours. Look at that. Big Chris, thank you. Thank you as always, Big Chris. Thank you. Wow. Looks like it does look interesting. Big Chris, thank you. It looks interesting. Wow. I'm going to check that out. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Chris, thank you again. I'm actually looking at the some information on the movie. It looks really, really interesting. Pilgrim! Hello, Mr. Goodman. Keep your powder dry. Pilgrim, make America great again. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. You look at Michael Flynn and Roger Stone and Carter Page and George Papadopoulos. Each one of them is being vindicated in one way or another. So you look and it's like you look and it's like they really have nothing. They don't have anything on any of these people. All they have is the media. And the media says, well, he pled to it. Well, people plead guilty all the time because they're told, look, you can't fight this case. But Agent Pepsi, hello. In Michael Flynn's situation, they were trying to go after family members. The FBI was run by people who did not like Trump. Why is that so difficult for Democrats to understand? It's so easy. Even a Democrat could understand this. The FBI did not like Trump. We have internal text messages. We have emails. We have text messages. We have text messages from Peter Strzok, who interviewed Clinton and then interviewed Michael Flynn. So he was one of the key central figures in all of this. He helped cover up Clinton's actual criminal activity. So, President Obama's former Secretary of State had service for 4 years. This is absurd. Look at all the absurd things they get away with. President Obama did not veto the sale of 20% of U.S. uranium capacity to Putin because the company was eventually owned by Putin. That's okay. That's not a problem to them. It's just a commodity they could build, you know what. They allowed Clinton to have servers for 4 years, and eventually there was top secret and special access program intelligence on these servers running outside of the United States government. It wasn't intentional. Okay. Then they set up and frame President Trump with a dossier literally that his direct political opponent purchased, which was Clinton. That's okay to them. Then you have FBI officials who falsified documents to give to judges to deceive judges. That's okay with them. Then you have a foreign. They talk about foreign interference, and to my Australian viewers, wonderful Australian, Alexander Downer, a former ambassador who has a meeting with George Papadopoulos in New York. So then they say, well, the FISA application wasn't obtained just from the Steele dossier. It was also the Papadopoulos meeting. Well, yeah. What did the Papadopoulos meeting say? Well, he's trying to find information on the Clinton, or he was giving information on the Clinton emails. How do we know? Well, Alexander Downer told us What did he tell you? He said that the emails were going to he said that the emails were going to be released before they were released. How did he know? He said that Papadopoulos told him. How do you know Papadopoulos told him? Maybe he knew himself. Is there a wire on this? Well, yes. Is there a recording? Well, yes, actually, it exonerates George Papadopoulos. Well, what was he guilty of? He obstructed justice, and he lied to the FBI. Okay, so so this is all entrapment. You can't get people on what you're accusing them of, so you get them on a process crime. And that's a public relations victory for you. Okay. Exactly. Alexander Downer has links to the Clinton Foundation. I think it was like close to $70 million of Australian taxpayer money. See, she's just waiting. Oh my God. This is now everybody knows why I've been mentioning Madam Secretary all the time and how wonderful she is. Because it's going to be, oh my God, so amazing. It's going to be so amazing. And when it happens, it's going to be like, how could you have possibly predicted this? Oh my God. This is amazing. I mean, because Biden was doing so good. He was up in the polls. They really live in their own alternate reality with Biden. It's kind of hilarious, too. The silver lining, Clinton's going to be nominated. She's the only chance they have. But the silver lining would be if Clinton was so inept enough, I should say, I can't imagine that this would be an appropriate, if this person was so weak-willed enough to allow Biden the nomination simply because he got the most votes in the primary that they don't even care about. He only got the most votes because it was Bernie Sanders, and they have utter contempt for Bernie Sanders. That's okay, no problem. I'm going to help Biden any way I can. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Biden's family so no jail time, but arrests for drunk driving. Okay, so here we go. Drugs. Everybody knows. This is hilarious. I'm positive that Trump's toxic. This is so hilarious. This is the type of thing that the liberals read every morning, and they're like, "Oh my God, it's true." Sleepy Joe and Creepy Joe haven't worked. So now they're trying Sticky Finger Joe. Well, don't try that one. My God Almighty, don't try that one. After Joe Biden gave his big economic speech, nobody cared about it. He plagiarized from me. It's true. This is hilarious. Biden is trying to be a populist now, which is so funny. Jeffrey Mill, thank you. Thank you. This is so funny. So Biden is now this populist, this economic populist, which is so hilarious. He's trying to be like a combination of Bernie Sanders and President Trump. And he's November 3rd is going to be a rude awakening. They are going to realize that everything, all the disingenuous, duplicitous, absurd nonsense, this hyperbole, the moral equivalencies, the false analogies. Here, Buy American is a slogan that House Democrats have used for many years. Really? Nobody's heard about it. And Joe and Bernie come together and propose. It's not plagiarism. Joe and Bernie coming together. Yes, it is. It's absurd. that they have nothing. There's more in common. There's a lot more in common with Bernie Sanders and Trump than there is President Trump and Bernie than there is Bernie Sanders and Biden. Furthermore, Biden is just a placeholder. But anyway, so I'm reading this. I wrote another story about that. So as to Kellyanne, I know a little something about that. That was my front page Times story back in 1987. Biden, as he did on other occasions, got swept away by puffing himself up and sprinted over the factual line. He over-identified with aspects of, Canucks life in Wales, fusing their backgrounds, and borrowed some Celtic lyricism. I wrote another story. So basically, he plagiarized this. He had a plagiarism scandal in 1988, but he rebounded in 2008 to get less than 1% in Iowa. So he did a lot better. Biden dropped out of the race. Biden has a talent for messes and has made some bad calls, including voting alongside Bush. Yeah, okay. So toxic positivity, the president's niece, Mary Trump, calls it in her new too much and never enough. What do I care? What do I care what the niece wrote? Why does that? As long as his kids love him, that's all that matters. At a very deep level, Mary writes, his bragging and false bravado are not directed at the audience in front of him, but at his audience of one, his father. It's like, oh my God, like, what do I care? They're so, it's the one great thing about Trump's reelection, in addition to the Durham probe and everything else, is that they're going to have to, physical graffiti, thank you. They're going to have to they're going to have to enjoy Trump's personality for 4 years. And you know what? I want him to go all out. Like, nothing like, let's just please rebuild together. It has to be like a compilation of like MSNBC, CNN, the Washington. Good job, America. Our democracy is gone. No more democracy. Our democracy is gone. We have no more country. Our country is gone. And then, Noam Chomsky, organized human life is gone. And the galaxy is gone. The universe is gone. Even history has been swept up in the future. And time itself is gone. Everything's gone. And they're really out of it. They're really out of it. It's pretty unbelievable. His father's racism infected Donald, and the patriarch promoted a warped idea of manliness. What? What? Where, is this why the author and everyone at the New York Times watched The Apprentice for about, 11, 12, 13 years while he was on it? He has a warped idea of manliness that was never warped while he was on NBC. Isn't that interesting? So, look. Sam Jage! I'm glad that we're moving to shut down the Flynn case, but my problem is his loss of money and time. Who pays for that? Exactly. Well, hopefully he writes books and becomes, I don't know. I don't know. Shungu Patsika! Rename the third channel. Maga Prophet Goodman. When it happens, I think I'm going to have to rename the third channel something along those lines. Shungu Patsika, thank you so very much. Shungu Patsika, thank you. Thank you. Sam, I hope that he's reimbursed with books and with speaking appearances, and they did him dirty. They try to do him dirty. Larry Whitaker, thank you, Sam, as always. Thank you, Sam. I mean, I'm hoping that the fact that he's vindicated will be lucrative for him in the future. Sam, thank you. Larry Whitaker, don't forget about the local election. That's right. Trump is going to need all the help he can get. Exactly. Big time. Big time. I agree with you on that. Larry Whitaker, yes. Yes, Larry. Thank you. That's a great point. Sandiford! I've given up expecting sanity from the DNC. That's not, they're not an organization that sanity has nothing to do with the DNC. I agree with you. Look, we had record low unemployment in late February. March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. July, August, September, October, November. Okay, no, sorry. July, August, September, October. 4 months. We had record low unemployment 5 months ago. Now we have economic, we were teetering on economic Armageddon for a second. We now have Joe Biden. 4 months from now, we'll have Clinton on the ballot. It's that simple. She has the, I don't want to say too many nice things, but she has the gravitas. She can stand up to President Trump. Only Hillary Clinton can stand up. But Bernie Sanders would get obliterated. I used to think Bernie was this tough, morally superior, really amazing. No. He's a tool. He's an absolute tool of the Democratic Party. It's pretty unbelievable, too. I got a small favor to ask of you. It's pretty unbelievable. But, yeah. Clinton's going to be on that ballot. And the past 4 years on this channel, people will realize why I've obsessed over this and other things. You cannot. I was looking at look at. Okay, the DNC runs on patronage, and it's an legal graft, and everything Tammany Hall ran on. Timothy Hill, thank you. Love the profile. Thank you. Timothy Hill, thank you. Thank you very, very much, Timothy. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it. HR, you're the best brother. Thank you, Timothy. Very, very kind of you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Have a great weekend. And Timothy, everybody here, the DNC, Biden has no power or influence within the political party. That's why they trot him out like a little wind-up toy, and then they just, direct him back to where he came from, and then he's like, he has no influence. Clinton has influence. Madam Secretary runs, it's a political machine. That's why when they're really going, like the left is really, really trying to, if you look and you say, my God, what's going on? Why is everything so dysfunctional? Because I think they do realize that at the end of the day, they do realize that they're not going to be able to do this when they lose or if they lose. So, the last 4 months, they really think that the news, the headlines in the news only help Trump. They don't help. And then you have, this is interesting, Joe Biden, you look at his Twitter page, this is just hilarious. Does this sound like somebody who's running? First of all, they have a hilarious picture of him. And loves ice cream, aviators, and Amtrak. Okay. Hold on with him. This is 11 hours ago. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is Joe Biden. Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in modern American history. No, he's not. President Obama was infinitely more corrupt. Bush was the most corrupt. Every day that he remains in office, he further threatens the future of our democracy. No, he doesn't. Actually, our democracy is strengthened every day President Trump is in office. Joe Biden, well, you know the deal. And then it would be Clinton who would actually threaten the democracy, but whatever. We have to vote him out this November. What? With you, correct? This is what he wrote, people. I will have made the biggest political call of all time. And I wrote about it in the Times of Israel and the Huffington Post. So it's not like people are going to try to marginalize the call. I know already. I know. But Brian Levy, my art is amazing. Brian, I remember you were talking about that. Yes, I'm sure it is. And Brian, thank you so very much. Keep on doing the beautiful art. And Brian, thank you. Thank you, Brian Levy. Thank you. Continue. Art is beautiful to be able to, well, all, art forms, music, everything, but actually painting and design and being able to, to draw or paint. Brian Levy, thank you. Joe Biden does not mention that he's running for president. Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee. I'm telling you, I know the Clintons. I'm telling you, I know the Democratic Party. I'm telling you, I know media. And I'm telling you, I know Joe Biden. He tweets this, and I'm going to spend 10 hours on this. It's going to be a 10-hour live stream. I'm not stopping. I'm not going to stop. Probably in about 20 minutes I will. But Joe Biden, I said it before, and I'll say it again. Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in modern U.S. history. Here we go. Every day that he remains in office, he further threatens the future of our democracy. Well, enjoy, because you're going to have 8 years of him. We have to vote him out this November. We have to vote him out this November. What does that mean? We have to vote him out this November? So then somebody wrote, it's like either a couple filmmakers wrote the following: you can free Stone, Flynn, and fire prosecute. It won't help. You're going down. You're a sociopath, a criminal, and a moron. First of all, he's ending America's longest-running military conflict. So Democrats really don't have a grasp of basic logic. A criminal, they didn't impeach him on anything to do with a legal statute, so he broke no laws. That's, thanks for playing on that one. And then, okay, so he's smart enough to defeat Clinton. He'll do it again. You're going to lose in a landslide and then go to jail. For what? He's going to go to jail for what? You're going to lose in a landslide? Okay. Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. It is not. 2016 is going to look like a really beautiful time. Like a really beautiful time. Like just an amazing, beautiful time. They're not. Be here November 3rd, but we have to vote him out this November. Vote him out. Joe Biden is not going to be the nominee, people. Brian Levy, thank you. Sandiford, our democracy is code has nothing to do with our honest democracy. Trump threatens what they have spent years carefully crafting for themselves. I agree with you on that. I don't know how much of a code it is, but I agree with you on that. Exactly. Sandiford, I agree with you on that. I think, though, that they're trying to refer to the country, the Republic. Luke St. Martin, Eric H526, the two best moderators in all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, when you do live streams, it is supremely important, especially with the way the YouTube guidelines are. Like, people, I have to sometimes delete an actual super chat message. Like, that's how paranoid I am regarding, that's how, concerned I am regarding. So to have two great, fantastic, amazing moderators who, like Luke St. Martin and Eric H526, I call Luke Quick Draw Luke St. Martin, and Eric H526 is the regulator. regulator. And they protect the live streams. It's pretty awesome. Jimbo! Oh my God, I can't believe how corrupt Stone and Flynn trials were. Oh my God, I know. Well, Michael Flynn was, through no fault of his own, set up and framed. Roger Stone was set up and framed, but Roger Stone, and he shouldn't have been. And I'm glad his sentence was commuted. I'm glad. But the only thing I'll say is that he made statements that were not true, and then the Mueller, because if you remember, Jimbo and everybody here, the Mueller team of anti-Trump partisans, Stone was long after Michael Flynn. They were almost wrapping it up, and then they're like, well, who else could we get? Then they got Roger Stone. So yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, they were extremely corrupt. Extremely corrupt. They were extremely corrupt, and it's like, it's like, who says things like, we have to vote him out? Well, Clinton says I'm gonna retire Donald Trump. Biden says we have to vote him out. My God Almighty, who? Can anyone say vote for Biden? Have you ever heard Clinton or even Biden say, if you vote for me or when I become president? Because you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, like, I've been making this call for a long time. Even at this point, I'm like, no way. They can't. Like, it's not happening yet, and it's going to, but all the signs point there, and I'm telling you it's going to, but like, it's just unbelievable how long they're taking this charade. It's really unbelievable. Like, I mean, get over it already. Barbara Streisand again. Donald Trump wants to be thought of as a winner. Well, he wins the title as the worst president in American history. Bruh. This is so funny. He's one of the best presidents. I would debate anybody on that. He's one of the best presidents. I'm not going to put him up there, with Abraham Lincoln or FDR or whatever, but he's definitely a better president than President Obama, infinitely better than Bush. The once mocked Never Trump movement becomes a sudden campaign force, Washington Post. Well, there you go. Now we know it's not a campaign force, because now we know it's not a campaign force. Not campaign force. Not campaign force. James Woods is funny. Vodka afternoon glow. She's running. She looked gorgeous. I just tell you. See, I'm like the opposite of somebody who doesn't like Trump. I look at Clinton and I say, this is like Darth Vader. She's fantastic. Who doesn't like Darth Vader? Huh? Who does not like Darth Vader? Jimbo! Celebs can't wait to get behind HRC. Oh, I know. Jimbo. When Kanye starts the birthday party, let's see, Kanye West. Because I'm telling you, he could be president. I am saying he has to run as a Republican. Nice. 18 hours ago. Shouldn't be hard for Kanye to take votes away from Biden. Katy Perry comments on Kanye West. The job is best suited for someone with experience. Okay, like Hillary Clinton. No, I would rather have Kanye West. Honestly, after President Trump, I know that, I would rather have Kanye West than any Republican or Democrat. Call me nuts. I would much rather have Kanye West. And I'm 100% serious. Much rather. Ted Cruz, Kanye West, Kanye West. Nancy Pelosi, Kanye West, of course. Because he's for the Second Amendment. Could you imagine anyone like James Comey trying to go after Kanye West? Would not work out. Because if they told him to like fire, like, somebody in the beginning of his campaign, he'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that. See, that's the one thing that President Trump did that he shouldn't have done. He should not have done that. 100%. 100%. I'm not saying that he's going to win. I would say I'd much rather have Kanye West than anyone left or right because he is a free thinker, critical thinker, and don't do the same thing that people did with Trump. They said, well, he's a reality show star. He's just a billionaire. He's nothing. If you're in the music industry, you say you like President Trump, and the entire industry is powerless against you in Hollywood. You're in Hollywood and entertainment, billions and billions and billions of dollars flowing through all of that. The whole thing is just fantasy world. And you build actually something tangible that's over $1 billion, and it's a world-renowned brand like President Trump did. And you're able to say, I like President Trump, and you support the Second Amendment, and you support other issues that President Trump supported. How that takes an immense amount of wisdom and critical thinking skills and ability to ignore very, very influential and powerful people and tell them take a hike. And I'm just telling you. Doug! He could. I'm telling you, Doug, he could. And he helped with prison reform, as did, I think, Kim Kardashian. He and Jim Brown helped with prison reform legislation. I'm telling you, there's an act. See, this is the thing. You cannot. They say net worth $1.3 billion. Okay. You can't make $1.3 billion as... That doesn't mean wisdom. Doesn't mean, supreme intelligence. But in this case, Kanye West has wisdom. He has intelligence. His personality is a personality that is an interesting personality, but allows him to ignore very powerful interests. You need an independent man or woman. Independent. Independence is more important to me than anything else. Trump, I say this, and I even looked at this when he was running as a Bernie Sanders supporter. Long before I became a Trump supporter, I said, oh, look, the man's independent. I didn't like him, or, I was like conditioned not to like him or whatever, but I never really, I was able to see the positives, and now I'm able to see all the positives. But he's an independent man. Kanye West is completely independent, devoid of any influence from... Okay, the Clintons are not independent. What they do is their independence is derived from manipulating people who try to manipulate them. Big Daddy, hello! Yes. Big Daddy, thank you. No, he's extremely, 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 extremely intelligent. $1.3 billion. In an industry, by the way, the music industry is known for taking money away from artists. Real estate is also very tough. So, I mean, there are tremendous parallels between Kanye West and Trump. Real estate in New York is difficult. Building giant, hotels is difficult. But anyway, this is USA Today. Yes, he's a billionaire. But the rapper has insisted that his wealth is much more than that. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much to my super chat. Thank you. People, thank you so very much. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, after President Trump wins, if Kanye West actually runs, because Trump will win with or without Kanye West running, but if Kanye West runs, takes millions upon millions of votes away from Democrats, and then he runs as a Republican, develops and communicates a platform that allows him to win the Republican, because the Mitt Romney days are done. There's no more Mitt Romney days. There's no more Marco Rubio. The Lincoln Project people are like, they're not even 10% of the Republican Party. They're like a small, tiny percentage. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. President Trump's going to win again. Thank you, Luke St. Martin. Eric, H526, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow, everyone. I have a segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel right now, so check it out on H.A. Goodman's other channel. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. You are all wonderful. Have a great, great evening. Thank you.